So, grab my first slide, please. So, short-term rentals. I started doing some short-term rentals about 8 or 9 years ago. I was renting my properties, and they were making close to that 1% or just a little over the 1%. And what I really had into them, and I thought I was doing good because I was following the 1 to 1.5, maybe 2% if I got lucky, of what you purchased the property for to what you're actually renting it for. And I started seeing these companies coming out that were doing short-term rentals, and they were getting 2.5 to 4 times the rate monthly that the regular rents were getting. And all you got to do is throw some beds in it, throw some TVs on the wall, and then, it's magic, right? So, ended up getting a little bit more detailed with it, but I wanted to show you guys some of the examples of what this could be. So, if you're serious about doing a short-term rental, this will give you some insight. So, here's one of my owner's statements from last month. We do them from the 10th to the 10th, and then we reconcile our accounts on the 15th. And you can see there, it looks like there was 30 nights, and income minus the fees, so about almost $5,000 there. And this was rented out for $1,100 a month, and it was undervalued. I think the rents in the area were $1,200 or $1,300. I think we bought it for like $140 or $150, and we put about 10 or 12 into it in furnishings, and with appreciation and stuff in the past year and a half, this thing's worth about $250 now. But the point is that it's bringing in $5,000, and that's like 5 times as much as what you could normally rent it for. Is there another one on there? Second one, sorry. So. Typically, these things come with cleaning fees and gross monthly. We also do averages on there, which is nice. We do this for our customers, so some of these people we're managing for others. And the next one, please, after that. But we like to show them how many guests are staying and what the average nightly rate is. Here's another one. This one actually brought in closer to $10,000, but we took a couple of grand out for the commissions. But this is one near Uptown in the South End neighborhood. I think it says there total payouts was like $11,550 for last month, so March 11th to April 10th. This type of thing with fully mortgaged, if it was, would be around $4,500, so that thing's collecting $7,000 a month in income, when that unit would probably only rent for about $4,500. It's it's a nice brownstone style 3-story with a rooftop terrace overlooking the buildings uptown. It's $1 million property, but the rents are just not there. Rents are high right now, but rents are not going to achieve this. So that's 2.5 times the rate monthly. And that will get you to your goal a lot quicker. Just the bottom screen of that one, so Hill, please. Let's see. So average nightly rate is $362. We stay about 97% occupied, and we even do like a average guest per booking. That's actually that's still like COVID prices. Like not a lot of people are traveling. And we don't have any Panthers games open. This thing's right down the street from the Panthers Stadium and right in front of the convention center. There's no conventions. So we're creeping those up. I think Garth Brooks announced that he was coming to Charlotte. And then within overnight, we had 15 requests. And I was like, what's going on with this weekend? And we looked it up. We're like, that's got to be a $1,500 a night weekend. So when these things open back up, these average nightly rate of $362 per night is going to be up above $500, that type of thing. So just wanted to share some of my experiences. You can get rid of that stuff. I just wanted to share some of my experiences with it, and if anybody wants to learn any more, our number. We're the 3 3s and 4 4s. And if you'd like to come out and see one, we do our transitions like 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon is when they're there cleaning. So if you want to come and see our operations, see our checklist, and see how we're putting all those types of things together. I know Ashley here is helping out a lot of people in Charlotte, and you could also speak with her. So is Dan. Helping other people manage and achieve their 2.5 to 4 times their normal rate. How to get started or whatever, but Dan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Dan Portilla. I'm supposed to be downtown Dan. I'm a Remax real estate agent. I've been selling real estate for 35 years. I'm an investor, and ended up in this business because I had a house in 2000. I had a condo in 2007, and I bought it, rented to this lady. She's going to be there forever, and she passed away. So went in, cleaned up, put in furniture, stuck it on Craigslist for a month. Got instead of $750 a month, I got $1,100, and then next month I'm reading all kinds of articles in real estate, and Airbnb's coming out in 2008 or 9. I was the third Airbnb listing in Charlotte. I had got $750 a month, and now I'm getting $1,800 a month, $1,900 a month when I entered it. It was always right. I sell real estate, so I talk to my clients. I sell people investment properties. I've been working in the investment field for a long time, and in the old days, picture long before the short-term rental industry, if you owned a house, you could suddenly raise the rent by $25 for the next year's lease. You're walking around the neighborhood giving yourself a high five. I raised the rent $25. I got a little bit more money. But no, here Airbnb came around, and if you offer a more full service experience for your clients and the people that need short-term rentals, because not everybody wants to sign a year lease for everything. And there's a lot of people in business, a lot of contractors in Charlotte, and I specialized in downtown area for many years, and I had a bunch of properties in and near downtown where we'd have Bank of America employees come for 4 months, 6 months at a shot. My average rental was in excess of 4.5 weeks. So I have a place fully rented, 90 days, 120 days. Somebody works at Bank of America, any of the firms downtown, Wells Fargo, or whatever. So I just built my business through my customers, delivering higher rents and better returns. What you may not realize is that Charlotte itself is the 17th most visited city in the United States of America. We have a lot more people come here, and we live here, we take it for granted. It's not like Charleston or New York City or Miami, but we have a lot of people that come here for a lot of reasons. So it's also a #1 pre-COVID. It was a #1 sports-related place. People brought their kids from Florida to all up and down the East Coast to do everything for tournaments. All the corporations brought in people, and all the construction people. Also locally, people buy and sell houses. I need a house. I need a place to stay for 90 days while I sold my house and waiting for my new house to be done. My water heater breaks. I have somebody for a month. Somebody's water heater breaks in the attic, floods their house, they got to move out. That happens. So it's not just visitors. Airbnb is not a weekend guest scenario. If you offer that type of situation, if you have a great big house, holds 16 people, that's going to be short-term families. And a lot of my properties are 2 and 3 bedrooms, or even 1 bedrooms, and people rent them for sometimes. I had someone last year move in March, in February of last year, and they just moved out in January of this year. They moved in for a weekend and stayed 11 months. $4,000, $4,200 a month in a little house in Wesley Heights, 3-bedroom, 1-bed. So I got into it just because I had a place and got an Airbnb and helped share it. I have about 20 Airbnbs. I've trained a lot of people. I helped Jayme get into it. helped Jayme train his little crew and build all those things.
Big crew, thanks.
Big crew. But I've been doing it a long time, and I've faced every type of person in the almost 12 years I've been doing on short-term rentals. I can answer questions. I use beyond pricing. I like it a lot. Instead of spending hours on the phone calling people trying to figure out concerts, the algorithms are right there. They say, this weekend there's 22,000 people searching Charlotte on Washington, and this how many availability it goes up and down. I can change the pricing on 6 properties in 5 or 6 clicks. So I use a managed property line, a managed website for all my properties, and I do use things like beyond pricing to help me gauge the market so I don't have to all the time. And also, it's just going to tell you things you don't even if you were like Ashley and find out about all these things, you're still not going to know about these other big events that may or may not happen in certain areas that might be close to one of your properties. My properties are spread all over Charlotte, from downtown to Concord to Pineville, and even I had for 2.5 years I had a property in Germany, and because my son was there, I helped him rent out his place whenever he traveled. You guys asked a bunch of questions earlier. I had to follow these arrows. By the way, if you ever use another law firm, a closing firm, you are crazy. If you don't use 24/7 law title, you are crazy, by the way. But what questions can I answer? I have a different relationship in that I'm an investor. I help my clients get the most money they could for the property. I fully manage it. I didn't want to grow to a point where I have 50, 60, 80 properties. I've told some clients or possible clients that I didn't want to work with them because they were high maintenance or they weren't going to be part of my system, and I didn't know that I could make them happy. I tried never to overpromise because you don't know exactly how much income you're going to get on your property. I did hear a question is, how do you know when your property's right for a short-term rental? But you really don't, because what I've learned is that any property, okay, if it's clean, if it has nice furnishings and takes great pictures, even in neighborhoods you live here, I'm not going in that neighborhood, but people rent in those neighborhoods and they actually don't have a problem. So I got one in Hidden Valley and it's a 5-star review all day long. But it's a new house and everything else like that. So what questions can I answer maybe that wasn't answered earlier by these?
So this could be, or Caitlin, I don't know, but I see this come up a lot on Facebook threads, and we haven't run into it, so I haven't really looked into it. But the whole squatters' rights after a certain amount of days. We've always done long-term, short-term rentals. We get contractors that come and stay, and we've never had any issues with it. But North Carolina law, what is it as far as, is there a squatters' rights time when they stay a certain amount of time that?
I think it's 28 days.
Is it in North Carolina?
Yeah,
Because I didn't know
if
if
they
North
ship
Carolina
mail
had
to
one.
you, if they ship,
Here, grab one.
I'm sorry. If they ship mail to your short-term rental and they are there longer than 28 days, they can claim they're a tenant there. And they can stay there until the eviction process.
You would have to go through.
That's not a
eviction.
squatter's right, that's a separate thing.
But you'd have to go through an eviction.
Well, they can say they're
process.
rent-free, yeah, because they can be considered a tenant if they're shipping mail there. So if you get the question of, hey, I need to ship Amazon packages there, hey, I need to ship, whatever, you know, you need to tell them no, because if they receive mail there, then they're then considered a tenant.
Can't they just do that anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they can, but.
We've had people that didn't ask and they got mail
Yeah,
there.
see, I'm in the-
Nobody sends mail to my property they're not responsible for it,
Yeah.
period.
But isn't it?
Zero.
Isn't it just on your rules? Like, if they do it anyways, then they're gonna do it, but isn't it on your rules, or does that matter?
Here's the way I would put it in perspective. Okay, so there's risk and reward in everything we do. we're doing short-term rentals to gain more average income per month. And in doing that, we're bringing in more.
Right.
You're not signing a 1-year lease that it goes 18 months.
And we do a fair amount of
Okay.
screening anyway, so like I said, we've not had that issue, but I didn't know what the laws were in North Carolina.
So I actually had that.
Okay.
I had somebody that wanted to leave,
Yeah.
and they just refused to leave on our Airbnb, so I called Airbnb, they said call the cops.
Half of the other
I
facility.
called the police, and they came over there, and they said, show me your lease. They said, no, they said, let's go.
So they actually did.
They removed it, they said it was trespassing.
That gives you incentive to be on Airbnb and not off Airbnb.
So we had one tenant that didn't leave because they were just apparently stupid and didn't know that was the day they were supposed to leave. Airbnb did tell me I could move their stuff out into a safe place and they get it at their leisure. But they.
It's
we
fun to do a
moved them
self-eviction. It's a lot of fun. You go in, you go
out.
out.
Yeah, oh, it was a lot of fun.
Been there, done that.
I've had it happen, and literally I disconnected the power, I disconnected the water, I had a couple of my big friends come over and
Yeah, you'll go,
turn up the
you can
music,
get them out of
but
trouble for that.
Yeah.
if they want, I know, but if they want to play stupid game,
Well, that's high, you become completely liable under landlord
That's like
laws.
burglars,
So you can go in and do a
breaking
self-evict and
properties.
things like that. And even during COVID, you could do it. I had one of my clients that, they're advised on some properties and he let somebody else in off platform. And that guy was a scammer and he got to stay about 4.5 months during the shutdown of eviction process. And, you know, it was a one-time thing. Here's the thing. Most people that go out and use these platforms, VRBO, HomeAway, Airbnb, and there's probably 20 other platforms, most of them are good people. So you have about the same high-risk rate as if you did rent it out to someone on a long-term lease. The average, before Airbnb, the average homeowner, the landlord, would go find a tenant, get a year lease, probably average out to 18 months. When they moved out, they had to stroke a check for $5,000 to $15,000 to go in and put new carpet, repaint the walls, fix the doors, redo this, fix the windows, all the things that tenants do. I find that even with a little bit of risk, okay, because of documentation we do, like, all right, I told Jayme, before anybody comes in, you take a video. As soon as you clean it, as soon as they check out, you take another video, and then you have this documentation, and you have 4 or 5 in a row, so when the people move out, and they had a party, or they trashed it a little bit, you got 3 videos for the last week that says, hey, this is what it look like, and you send that in, you're pretty well covered. But there's a low risk that you're gonna get someone that's gonna truly try to take care of you. But there's always gonna be that risk. And you have to embrace that when you do any type of investing, or you want to be a landlord, or you want to run a business. You have risk. You just need to be realistic about it. And as soon as you see signs, when people show you what's going on, or as soon as you're surprised, you jump on the task and take care of it. You know, and if you're working directly with Airbnb, it means you got to get on the phone and dial and wait on hold for 45 minutes. Start a phone call that's going to last another 45 minutes, and then they're going to assign you to some imaginary case manager that's going to call you back in 3 days. It's going to take 3 weeks to sometimes 2 months to resolve an issue. So there's risk involved in everything, but the risk is I'm getting higher rents. Okay, I actually find that if you own a property as a regular investor and you rented it out and there's no furniture in it, when they move out, you got to come and do repairs. You put a bunch of furniture in there, and you're in there once every, depending upon your type of client, once every weekend or every 3 or 4 weeks. You're coming in, cleaning the place, changing the air filter. Just changing the air filter on your AC unit will save you $10,000 every 15 years on a new AC. You take care of your property, it's inspected. If someone breaks a lamp, they got to pay for it. If someone does damages, you get to have restitution for it most of the time. It's just part of the whole program.
Do you do
deposit portion where you put it in, and what the security deposit does on Airbnb, he asked what do you do with security deposits. On Airbnb, if you're directly hooked in and you're managing your own property, or you have your property manager do it for you. By the way, I advise you to hire a property manager like Ashley or me. You pay us money,
Or
but we'll
me.
get you more, or Jayme, or whoever it is. But you'll pay us some money to do that, but we'll take all these headaches and risk away from you. You can sleep at night and do better at what you do. If you're an investor, go and find another house, damn it. Flip another house, fix up another house, do something like that. But the security deposit with Airbnb is for each listing, for each booking, you set the amount. It could be $100 or it could be $1,000. Now they don't, I have all mine at $750. Okay, but they don't take that money directly from the client, okay, when they do the booking. The booking is $200, they take $200 cleaning fees, 10.5% taxes, 4% Airbnb fees. That's what the traveler pays, okay? There's a deposit in there. So the moment you do a claim with Airbnb, the first $750, they'll play with readily, and they have no problem going after them and grabbing the money from that $750 deposit. Money gets above that, which is very rare. I mean, we're talking 1 out of every 100 clients, and the average client spends 5 days, 2 weeks, paying you a lot of money. It's a very low risk, but sooner or later someone's going to do some damage. You're going to make the claim, and you'll get your money almost all the time, especially if you document it. The whole thing about claims with Airbnb or VRBO or anybody else is documentation. You need pictures before if you have them, or videos, and then you document what they did and how they did it. And here's the receipt from the cleaning service. The cleaning service came in and cleaned it. They cleaned the carpeting, they had to clean the couch, and they cleaned the couch, and then they put the ozone machine in it for 4 hours and cleaned up the smell.
An actual invoice.
An actual invoice from a cleaning company, and they'll cover that, and you'll get your money back. It's just part of the risk. Yes, sir.
We just got just a couple of minutes here. Talk about how many, from either one of y'all, talk about how many Airbnbs or STRs rather there are in the area. How much of a market can Charlotte hold for, as we expand? It seems to be growing the STRs. I don't know who's doing this.
Here's my take on it. 35-year real estate agent looking at it. Pretty good at this stuff, but Charlotte, amazingly enough, had one of the highest concentration of short-term rentals on Airbnb of any major top 20 metropolitan city. A slightly higher rate, even bigger than Miami and some other places. Amazingly, just because everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Imagine yourself now. Does any of you want to go and book a hotel next weekend and go to another city? Anybody here? Of course you want to do that for 1 night or 2 nights, but most families, most people, a couple, even single people, want to go to a place and have a nice place away from home. The dream that Airbnbs and VRBOs sell on the internet is something a little more special than your house. Because you're looking at the pictures, you imagine, you look at 20 different properties, like, that's the one I want to be at. And that's what people rent, okay, based upon your pictures, what you presented, and that. And there's a slight difference between Airbnb clients and VRBO clients. VRBO clients, by the way, you have to be on multiple platforms and be able to manage your calendar the whole time. No double bookings, that's a definite no-no. But VRBO people have a little more money, a little more wealth, stay a little longer, and pay a little bit more. But you can't eliminate the meat and potatoes, Airbnb people coming and going all the time. What do you guys think of the market?
Do you prefer one platform versus the other, like VRBO or
You
Airbnb?
need both.
You need-
You have to have both.
Yeah, you need
Or
both.
you can be on 10 or 12 different platforms at the same time.
Yeah, but there's Guestie and IGMS. Which ones do you guys use?
Guestie.
Guestie.
Yeah.
Why Guestie over IGMS?
I just like the way it links together.
I was with Guestie about 10 years ago when it rolled out. I talked to the CEO and there was, maybe 1,000 customers, and now it's one of the leaders in the industry. And to be honest, once I'm on it, it's too hard to move to somebody else for basically the same thing. The grass is not going to be greener. It does have, as much as you want to get into the details of it and manage your platform and read your analytics, it has everything you want. And it manages your property over all the platforms. It also brings in all the other platforms, and it co-sells with all the different technologies, applications, computers that you want. I mean, if you want right now, you can find a service that you put a monitor, and if someone smokes in your house, it'll let you know. You can put up
The noise thing.
noise
Yeah,
detection.
the smoking, noise, and all that. But yes, you can link them all together, Ernie, and they'll handle the calendars. Like if VRBO books it, it locks it up on other calendars. There's some easy stuff like
If you
that.
have a bunch of properties, then you go to a managed platform like Guestie. Okay, if you have one property, you can live and negotiate and juggle between VRBO and Airbnb and et cetera, because it's one person, one property, you can handle that. If you get above 3 or 4, it's gonna start rolling on you, and you gotta manage the calendars, so, because one mistake will cost you $500 or $600, and what you're paying for the managed platforms for a year or two is maybe $1,000. So, because you're paying a percent, like 2.5% of whatever you're booking to use that managed platform to manage everything from your rental dates to your check-in dates. You can send notices to your cleaners. You can automatically takes payment, follows up, sends hundreds of automatic emails, sends check-in instructions. A lot of those things is the system you have set up to cover all the details. Because imagine yourself, you've all traveled, you've all used some sort of hotel or Airbnb. Imagine a great experience. You have to deliver that all the time, 365 days a year, any hour of the day, and a lot of it's user failure. So I have a couple of properties in downtown, and they got to go in and they got to use a combo box. God forbid they can't use a combo box. The number is 1969. I can't open the box. It's just little stuff like that. You got to be there for them once you get them open.
Just hide a key somewhere.
Yeah.
Hide a key
Take
for
video.
situations like
I have a combo box. I have an emergency key at every
I
property.
put all my emergency keys in the combo box, so they're double screwed, I guess.
that.
Yeah.
But what else? You have another question? Yes, sir.
Yeah, quick question. Any concern about shifts in the industry, such as like regulation or perhaps like licensing around it? I know we're not California here, but kind of heard in San Diego, right? They might issue licenses for a number, what that's going to be, anything like that.
We're not Asheville either. We're not Austin. We're not. The home of Airbnb is San Francisco, so now a most highly regulated place. We're not Honolulu. We're not places like that. Right now, the tax, every time somebody uses Airbnb, they pay 10 3/4 taxes. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg likes those taxes, okay?
And
And
I can say that we have one,
we have one in Mint Hill, and Mint Hill is after us for that Airbnb. And it's an Airbnb that's on 2 acres, so it has a lot of land. But behind it, there's a subdivision with an HOA, and there's a pool at it, and so people tend to congregate out back, and sometimes it can get noisy. 2 or 3 times now, the town of Mint Hill, they have left a notice on the door, and it basically has stated they do not like what we're doing, but they do not have any current laws that prevent it from happening, but that may change in the future. So that's just something that we're having to deal with as it happens, and that's just the town of Mint Hill specifically.
In Charlotte right now is pretty friendly towards city council and everybody at the moment is. It could change in one event. Usually these things change with one event. Like a couple years ago, there was a party near downtown and there was a shooting. And everybody like scrutinized it really, really close, but they decided not to really act on it. So anything can happen. You do need to be prepared for these eventual changes. What?
Did you say there was a shooting at one of your Airbnbs?
No, I did not say that. Not anything to do with me.
It wasn't mine either.
Happened last spring.
Yeah, it was last
They
year.
were selling tickets to the
I want to thank you all. I do work for RE/MAX, so real estate for 35 years in the Charlotte area. And if you have any questions on this, I can manage. Any one of these girls can manage. I do it differently. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Give it up, Dan. Yes. Everybody's seen Shark Tank around here. We all work together in some kind of capacity or another. Dan seems to book a lot of our properties. Every month he's got at least one or two of our guests are he helps us with. And so, if you want to network with these folks, come see them, grab their numbers, and see how you can work with them moving forward. Ashley and Dan are running excellent business, and if you like to work with them, you kind of get all three. So it's like a Shark Tank price, all
I'll
in
make a
one.
deal with you.
Yes. Also, I think we ended up with some extra food, so they're gonna bag it up, put it up on the side, and you guys grab some of that on the way out, please, and take it with you. Do we have any questions for the panel in general? Do you maybe just go to open networking, or is there anything else that we need to discuss? Yes, sir.
What would you guys recommend for people who do not have rentals?
So Juan asked, what do you recommend for folks that don't have rentals? I think I can answer that. Get a rental, right? The market's kind of high. Oh wait, everybody smile. Okay, so
You can get into this business.
That's what I was
You
going to.
can't get into this business without actually owning the property. You can absolutely go anywhere, rent any house, but you need to tell in the contract, very straightforward, that you're gonna do a short-term rental in the house. So you can rent any house, tell the owner, don't go to a condo, damn it.
And don't
Okay?
go to an apartment.
Don't do apartments, don't go in an HOA, go in an older neighborhood, close to a good neighbor area, find someone that looks around the house. The problem is right now, people are spending 2 and 3 weeks or even months trying to get a rental. So homeowners aren't desperate, but you can tell the homeowner a couple things. One, you're gonna take better care of it than any other tenant in the world. When you move out, whether it was 1 year or 5 years, it's gonna look almost virtually identical to the day you rented it. Maybe even better, because you're gonna maintain it. And you can pay them, you can even do a revenue share with them, if you wanna create that. And people are doing that all over America. There's guys that went out and rented 100 houses, furnished them all, and they make money off the spread. Because you can rent a house for $1,200, you put a lot of furniture in it for 10 grand, maybe you're renting it for 3 grand, maybe you're renting it for 5 grand a month, and you're keeping that spread. So you can build on that, it's not impossible. I think it's better to go buy a house as soon as you can, and then do it with that. Or if you already own multiple properties, the next time somebody moves out of a property, take that property, instead of putting it back on the market as a regular rental, take and put it in a short-term rental. So you start out with one unit, and then another one, and then another one. So that's my take on how to get in.
Thank you. I think they call that arbitrage, right?
Yes.
Where you rent the property, like I'll rent your property from you, I'll just pay you a set amount, and then I'm gonna go out and put advertising for short-term rental and whatever it is. Come see these folks after the meeting. Come see these folks after the meeting, and we're gonna open it up for networking right now. So if anybody has any further questions, grab us. Also, please help. It is a charitable thing, so we got the food tonight. So either order some drinks or tip Bree. Bree, turn around and wave to everybody. Hi, Bree. Thank you, Bree, for being here, and we look forward to seeing everybody next month out here. And we're going to start a little bit more formally with the crypto. We got a really good, response today, and we're going to have it a little bit more formalized next month. So if you're interested in learning more about crypto, we're going to be starting 5 o'clock first Thursday of each month. And also, if you bring a guest, 2 for the price of 1 next month moving forward. So help us bring a guest. If you have any friends or like-minded real estate folks that want to join in this thing, jointhebuildgroup.com. Send that to them. It'll link them right over to Facebook, and then they can join our group as we grow as, family and community. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you, guys.